Hello, everyone. Very good afternoon. Can somebody please tell me if my hello? Hi, everyone. Can somebody please tell me if my audio is clear?
Yes, it is.
Perfect. We'll just start in a minute. Very good afternoon, everybody. I hope I'm clearly audible. Welcome, everybody, to the Data Security Immersion briefing. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope I'm very much clearly audible. Can somebody please tell me if there is any breakage or any other issues? Feel free to interrupt. In today's session, we'll explore how Microsoft help organizations discover, classify, protect, and govern their data across your users, devices, applications. We'll also look at practical strategies. There we have Siddhant with us, who will help us, letting us know how you can reduce data risk by enabling secure collaboration and productivity. I would encourage everybody to please participate, ask away questions, engage throughout the session. With that, let's begin today's data security immersion briefing. Over to you, Siddharth.
Hi everyone. I hope you are all doing well.
Yes, Siddharth, you're clearly audible.
Right. So while we get started, the first I have a question for all of you within the meeting. So while we go through the agenda and get started with the briefing itself, I'd like you to please give us a few examples of where you have seen data security risks. How are you currently mitigating data risks within your organization? And how are you handling the introduction of AI platforms like ChatGPT, OpenAI within your companies, within your organizations? And how are you managing the data risk from this extended attack surface area? So while we'll get through to everything and go through all the tools, all the different offerings within for Microsoft and all the different aspects of data security all throughout, uh, we'd like to understand from you what have you seen, what have you experienced, and how you are currently managing it, right? So let's get started with the briefing itself. Now, what we'll look throughout this presentation, right? We'll be talking about what are the key challenges that any organization face while securing their data. We'll look into Microsoft Purview. We'll have a look at Purview in action. We'll go through all the different tools and topics that Purview have, and then we'll look into the tabletop exercise. So now this is a very interactive part of the presentation. It is a scenario-based game that we kind of play to see from organization's perspective, from the perspective of a security leader, and the perspective of a IT employee or a manager, right? So, what differences in choices would you make in different areas? Then we'll look into how Microsoft can be valuable into our organization, and that should be it for today, right? So while we get started, please do remember to put down your queries, questions, and doubts alongside your interaction points, you can always open up your mics and speak with us too, right? So when we talk about data security, you can see a few stats on the screen, and these are actual real stats from 2023-24. Data security incidents have increased by 83%. I think one of the most concerning factors in this comes to AI, right? While AI and external threats are always there, but insiders within your organization, insider means your employees, intentionally and unintentionally become the reason behind these data breaches, behind large scale attacks. There are two particular reasons towards it. One can be malicious behavior, and one can be just non-understanding of facts, not understanding what security risks are, and being unaware of uh, how they have to proceed with a particular situation, what they have to do within a situation. Now, since 2022, ever since ChatGPT came out and everyone has started utilizing it, everyone has started, pouring their data online, and it was used for training AIs. Since then, 80% of organizational data security leaks and concerns are related to generative AI itself. Many of the leaders within the industry are shaping their concerns, are letting you are adopting, less and less generative AI. The main reason behind this is always generative AI and the open platforms against it. Now, within this, you will also see a quick adoption. I think if any one of you have attended any of our other sessions, which we did on generative AI and Microsoft Copilot, so you would have understood the importance of enterprise data protection, which Microsoft gives out with their current portfolio of AI agents and AI functionalities, right? So, taking into account all these factors, all different areas, what are some of the risks? Let's look into what are some of the risks you can fall to. As we said, internal risks are a lot more. Then external. External risks, we all have multiple firewalls, security softwares, whatnot implemented within our companies to stay protected from external risks, right? What external risks can be phishing attacks, it can be compromised user credentials, right? Any external threat acting upon to take data from within your company. We have conditional access policies for that and a lot more. Now, internal risks create the most hazardous situation. Now, and the area where this can happen, the internal, sabotage can happen, intentional or unintentional, are a lot more. From copying data onto a USB to uploading data into personal drives, right? From using sharing sensitive data in generative AI applications, deleting any sensitive data within the organization before someone leaves, or unintentionally deleting such data. So all of these compromise of unintentional and insider risks, right? Now, within insider risks, how do you control them? This is each and every one of your employee, and as many employees as a company has, the risk increases multiple. You cannot always be, looking into it. For IT teams, there are hundreds and thousands of responsibilities they have to cater to. So how do we automate all of this? Now, taking some through a survey, Microsoft collected a lot of data into what are the prominent risks within for any organization. One of the topmost concerns came out to be the leakage of sensitive data. 80% of leaders cited that they are concerned about sensitive data, and nearly 50% of them expect to continue banning all generative AI in the workplace itself. Now, why this is so? Because we have a lack of preparedness against the deployment of generative AI. Right? people were not ready on how to handle these softwares. Everyone started utilizing them, and 84% of the leaders agree that they need to be doing more against risky employees usage of AI application and different tools. Now, while AI comes into play, the regulatory evolution is also very uncertain. Uh, uh, at least in 2027, at least one global company is going to, completely ban AI based applications. It can be regulatory, it can be non-regulatory, but this is a prediction that could be taken out of the context from all the different, Gartner security leaders report, or this year even there was even there was a generative AI study, which compared the business rewards versus the business risks. Now, looking into all of this, right, how do you prepare when generative AI is a new area? So, this particular slide actually shows us different attack vectors and the different attack surfaces where you have, so much exemplified risks. So, your particular threat vectors will start from your applications, the identity, endpoints, network, data, and cloud. These are your particular attack vectors. Now, when you introduce Gen AI on top of it, so the new attack surfaces increases. The older ones, we all secured our applications. We all utilize AD and identity providers, and access providers, IDPs, and whatnot, right? We all have network security implemented. We all have DLPs and a lot more security implemented. And we have CNAPs, we have cloud monitoring, and etc. implemented within our companies, right? Now, how do you look at Gen AI? So, for your growth, we have added this slide into it, which actually shows you what are the attack surfaces. Attack surfaces, any particular region where someone may utilize it to expose out your data. Now, what are the new attack surfaces that have came out from AI, which will be prompts, your responses, the AI orchestration, the data which is being used to train the AI, RAG data, different models, the different plugins and skills these AI systems have. Now, from this, we have a lot of amplified risk as well. This was the surface area where something can happen. What can happen are data leakages, jailbreakings, indirect prompt injection, model vulnerability, and hallucinations. Right? Have a look at this whole page and uh, import it into your mind so that you have a clear idea of what are the increased risks. And I'd like to take a quick second just to drink water. Done. So while you have absorbed this, let's move on. Right now, as we have been talking about generative AI, each and everyone have been interacting with generative AI, right? And on a day-to-day basis, I think every one of us at least go through one AI-based tool a day nowadays. And there was an era of software when it came out, and so many different security threats increased within any organization. Now with generative AI, what are the key risks that are associated is one is data oversharing by a neglecting user. User may have created a document without proper access control, right? Making it easy for other users to reference it in Copilot. Now, user may be utilizing generative AI to find information on a secret project or leak it to the press for a personal. So this is a disgruntled employee who may be looking for different options to cause harm. And maybe user shares sensitive data in consumer generative AI apps. So even within this, as we talk in the Microsoft Copilot sessions, that there are secure AIs for organizations to use. But there are so many commercial AIs as well that are available, from ChatGPT to Grok and a whole lot more. So sharing data onto this actually results in utilization of that data to be training the AI. If you input any proprietary data which the AI never had access to, it will learn from that data, and the next user which may ask it a question relevant to it, that data may be utilized to answer that particular question, which may have been an internal data, which may have been a security leak from inside. Now let's see it in a live action. What can be a security threat, right? So what does security threats look like? What are some real scenarios which actually happens to companies, right? While from their employee side. So we have a customer employee named Jane Doe, right? What she is doing is she's planning to start her own company. And what she did is she started stealing data from your company and taking it home to establish or help in establishing her own, frontier and companies. So she can collect multiple information due to her high level. She's a principal or a manager, right? She has access to a lot of data. So she leveraged her privileged title and collected multiple proprietary information from multiple companies. Let's say she attempted, to copy this data onto a DLP, onto a hard drive, external hard drive or a USB. But that may have been blocked by a DLP at company one, right? So she found a loophole in company one. What she did is she logged into her personal email and uploaded everything into a cloud store. Now, what she did is in the second company, she was accumulating the data from before as well. She downloaded those data into her hard drive from company B, right? And accumulated both data onto that. Now, she did have conversations while employees. Just give me a quick second. Really sorry.
Meanwhile, we are dropping some interesting questions related to the each slide shared by Siddharth. Feel free to scratch your head and answer those questions in the chat box itself. So related to this slide shared by Siddharth only, I've dropped a very interesting questions. What is the biggest security gap you see inside a threat scenario here? So
Okay.
Hi
So
Siddharth,
while
you
you
there?
guys answer, yeah, I'm here. So while you guys answer that as well, so a live scenario of data security has been revolving around us. So one of our managed clients is going through this ransomware attack. So we've been trying to help them out. They contacted us a day before yesterday when they fell in prey to a cyber attack. They all their files are logged. So we have been trying to help them out for the past 2 days. So it was their call. They were having trouble accessing a few data points. I'm really sorry I had to step away. Now, what we were talking about is how Jane Doe was actually, taking data from both the companies Now, while this happens, people do notice. She also had inappropriate conversations in which she actually threatened the people who thought something might be wrong to cover up her tracks. Then what she did is she deleted everything. She deleted the actual sensitive information in order to say I didn't even have access to it at the first place. Right? Now, in this case, she was found out, right? She everything was noticed by some people, someone tattled, but that is not always the case. She may have been terminated from both the companies, right? And she went through a whole outcome. She was a convicted felon. But what went wrong in this whole scenario was the companies didn't have the actual visibility into their sensitive data. The DLP did not flag a repeated offender. Right? The granted collaboration between these two was abused. The inappropriate behavior was flagged, and sensitive data was not actually preserved. She was able to take it out and utilize it even when she might have come out, right? So now another scenario in which we talk about, we have been talking about, AI since the start. So let's say John and Alice are two managers and project managers. Now John is working on a confidential project called Obsidian, right? Only a few employees might have known about it. It's a secret project. Now Alice overhears the word itself, Project Obsidian. And what she does is she went to her co-pilot. And if anyone of you have, ever attended any of our co-pilot sessions, so you know M36 co-pilot for M365 and how it has context to our internal work profile. She tried to find out, information about this project Obsidian. The co-pilot did provide her a summary, right, which was linked to some documents that she had access to. Out of curiosity, now she goes to ChatGPT and she pastes this whole data which was found by her onto ChatGPT itself. Now, what went wrong in this particular situation? Right? We did not have policies to automatically detect and label Project Obsidian documents. There is no, keyword detection in terms of internal which data should be classified or not. Copilot was able to find the information as she had file, permissions to open search files, right? The DLP policies did not prevent the leak of sensitive data because information became a part of ChatGPT's training data. And overall, sensitive data was actually exposed. While this project Obsidian was leaked in the public, which resulted in bad PR and impact to their share price. Now we did look at these two scenarios as something which is fictional. But a fact is, both of these scenarios have been taken out in real life. These are real life scenarios from which these examples have created. And both of these have costed billions of dollars to these companies. Now, moving on, right? Let's look into what Microsoft Purview is. So, we have established what are the risks, what are the problems, what type of scenarios may happen, and what we can now let's see what can we do to prevent all of this. Now, Microsoft Purview is a unified approach to secure and govern our data. When we say a unified approach, it means that it is applicable on whole lot of architecture from your M365, which includes your Office, SharePoint, Exchange, your team stats, right? From Copilots, your AI capabilities, M365 Copilot, Security Copilot, and more. Your data states, your Microsoft Fabric, in which you have your Power BI, XYZ, Databricks, Azure AI, Azure databases, and Dataverse. Also, all your AI applications like OpenAI, Azure OpenAI, ChatGPT Enterprise, Azure AI Foundry, Copilot Studio, and more. While Microsoft Purview helps you to map the data, classify with labels, audit, and ensure visibility across all these platforms. There are multiple internal segregations within what Purview does. So what it actually does is it dynamically secures our data throughout its life cycle. And the word life cycle here carries a lot of importance. And we'll look into that a bit later in the presentation as well. It reasonably unlocks value creation for data and manages critical risk and regulatory requirements all throughout your environment. Now, when we talk about dynamically securing our data, right, throughout its life cycle, as I said, it is an important word. We look into all the different architectures, all the different, applications that Microsoft Purview has. So the first one is information protection, which is a built-in intelligent solution to protect your data. As the name suggests, Microsoft Purview Information Protection, it helps us classify, it helps us discover where data is residing, and it utilizes automation and machine learning to do it. It has built-in labeling and protections. It extends far beyond your M365. It extends into your Google, your external GitHub, GitLabs, your Adobe, your Dropbox, and your Salesforces. All are covered within information protection. Plus, this is the part where we actually comply to a lot of requirements. We have all heard that data encryption at rest, in transit, and in use is requirement of a lot of compliances, including ISO 27001. So, while we talk about these, it actually encrypts your data within Microsoft 365 at rest, in transit while it is being shared, and while it is in use. So, providing all of this, this is the Microsoft Information Protection. The second part is data loss prevention. Now, apart from this, where we were classifying and protecting data, how do you actually enforce policies across your cloud and on-prem structures? And this DLP is extendable to your endpoints, your cloud, and your application. Right? It automatically enforces compliances with regulatory or your internal policies, extends to again Microsoft and non-Microsoft endpoints. Right? You may have a iPad, you may have a MacBook or a Linux system. It is applicable everywhere. It is applicable on on-premise file shares, user applications, browsers, and even services. And it allows us as administrators to flexibly apply policies to balance data security while maintaining the user productivity. The next part is, as we heard since the start, we have been hearing insider risk. So the third is Microsoft Purview's insider risk management, which what it does is it helps identify and catch, act on insider risks with integrated end-to-end approach, which means collaboration between data security departments, HR departments, legal, and more investigative workflows. Right? While when you look into insider threats, you also cannot breach the privacy of a user. So while maintaining data privacy of each and every user within the environment with built-in controls to make sure no one can misuse the insider risk management, it identifies risky activity and hidden risk factors within your organization against customizable templates and contextual insights to find out and categorize which user is risky and which is not. Right? Now, what is adaptive protection? Which means when we talk about so many different areas, from insider risk levels to data loss prevention to your conditional access or data lifecycle management, right? On different levels, different utilities of this come out. Let's say someone with a minor risk, right, may only receive a policy tip from the DLP. Someone with moderate risk may have a block action implemented while having the accessibility to override it by actually going through the terms of it. Now, someone with elevated risk might have a blocked action from utilizing data, from accessing data, and which results in the preservance of data throughout its life cycle. Now, when we talk about critical and regulatory risks, right? Looking into the same, one comes your data lifecycle management, which is basically used for retaining or deleting data or managing records where user collaboration to manage risk and prevent productivity loss. It demonstrates compliance with label analytics, insights. It gives you defensible dispositions and very in-depth and rich audit trails behind each and everything, right? Even your non-Microsoft data imports can also be, connected through your pre-built connectors. So from Facebook to Slack to Twitter, whatever you are utilizing, Zoom or Bloomsware, there are a lot of pre-built connectors which you can use with data lifecycle management. Then from the compliance side, next thing comes out to be, investigation. Now, e-discovery comes as a custodian, which basically holds, sends notifications and acknowledgements, right? It reviews and manages static documents within different cases which are going on, and each can be independently created, searched, analyzed, and shared while being acted upon. It detects duplications, email threading, ML model. It has a ML model to identify which content has high value impact and which content needs more review or efficiency in actually maintaining its security. Now, the next part is communication compliance. When we have so many different areas, right, where we all talk to each other, I think from WhatsApp to Yammer to Exchange to Teams, Slack, your Bloomberg's portal, and a lot more. There are a lot of ways to communicate within organization, and it is still a policy to ensure no negative communication and no, negative or any policy violations does not happen on any of these connected platforms. So what communication compliance does is it has customizable playbooks which you can modify according to your organization. It detects violations across third-party content, Teams, Exchange, right? And it flexibly remediates these into, removal of messages, blocking of sending, right? It automatically removes any incriminating messages on Teams. It helps you identify and investigate communication risk while maintaining end user privacy, right? So this is now the last part. I think this is last. No, there is one more. So nearing the end of what all capabilities Microsoft Purview have, next is the audit. Basically, it is a central part where you can have your forensic investigations from email items to mail sent to your user search conducted, and it preserves the investigation as well as the affected items and artifacts. It preserves the law option. It has the option to preserve that data for up to 10 years while also having high access bandwidth to all Microsoft resources. Now, when we talk about compliances, as we talk about, right, what compliances and what to manage. Now, in your case, it might be so that you have a custom area where 30 different compliances are applicable. How do you manage it? The compliance across all these different parts. So this is where compliance manager comes into, which basically helps you end-to-end manage end-to-end compliances, right? While onboarding easily all your controls, right? You can configure out-of-the-box assessments to meet your requirements. Plus, there are compliance templates you can also utilize, right? Which basically maps your controls. It gives you a compliance score and continuously assesses what's the current, uh, our readiness against the particular compliance. Now, since the start, we have been talking that there will be a tabletop activity. What we have learned up till now, what are the risks, how and which tools are available to manage those risks. So let's look at it by a playable or a interactable scenario where we look into the possibility of having different areas, right? Different just right, different scenarios. So let's look into this as well. Now, before we get started, let's divide each and one of us as business leads as well as technical leads, right? And from your perspective, what would be the answer? Please let us know in the chat. You'll have to select options from A to E, and depending on the scenario, please listen to the scenarios carefully. And depending on the scenario, what do you think is the best option in a particular case? You let us know, right? Let's start. So the this